Welcome back to Apex Investor. Today, Starbucks was the big story today. It was up over 24%. The range was $90 to 96. Is that right? 90 to 96. How did it go from... Went from 76 to 93 just in one day. So it's been on a tear recently. Personally, from the news, their CEO was replaced. They have a new CEO. He is the former CEO of Chipotle, Brian Niccol. And he was famous, or is famous, for turning around Chipotle and increasing their stock value by, I think, over 700%, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why there's a lot of positive buzz regarding him. So they're looking forward to Starbucks really turning their fortunes around. So let's look at the 5-year chart and see where this could be going. All right, support is looking like 58 to 70. Resistance, so make that 60 to 70. Resistance looking like 114 to 120, 125. But this is a steady stock. In the event of a market crash, buy it at 50 and below. 50 and below, maybe even 40 and below. But I don't see Starbucks going anywhere in terms of it's not going to disappear. It's a mainstay, just like McDonald's. It's going to be around for many years to come and decades to come. So I would buy this. I'd wait for a stock market crash personally, but if your intent is to buy this, you're looking at an entry point of 65 to 78. And you're looking at an exit point of 120, 100 to 120. So that's Starbucks. That's all for the stocks. Well, in terms of the technical analysis aspect, now we're going to go look at Richtech, Robotics, stock twits. We just saw that. Okay, so I may not be able to find the exact post that I'm looking for, so I'll just read it from my phone here. There are multiple posts I wanted to read, but in particular, as it relates to Richtech Robotics, this comes from Yahoo Finance forums, and there's a user named Helix, and he writes in the FAQ, why is the stock half of its usual price? And his answer, it's being shorted. Does Richtech make the robots? Answer is yes. They manufacture them via design, testing, and software creation. That's in their company description. Next question, is it better than Serv in terms of an investment? Yes, it has better fundamentals and revenue. I think all these things have to be proven, by the way. Is this a Chinese scam? No, this has been widely featured on Time Magazine, CNN, Fortune, Business Insider, Wired, Axios, etc. Actually, that's a really good point because metamaterials was not featured on all these platforms as extensively. In fact, the Atom robot has even rung the NASDAQ opening bell. Okay. Does the company have experience? Yes, the company has 20 years experience in this industry. Will it go back up? Not only is that highly likely to go back up, it's possible this could rapidly gain with just a little bit of news. Recently, after the share price reduction, a number of institutions have purchased large amounts, including Renaissance Technologies, who purchased over 100,000 shares. Another post from the same user, Helix. Nobody cares about the recent institutions buying and the retail investors? And how about the current invested institutions holding? Well, reverse splits do not happen for months. After not trading back above $1 for 10 consecutive days during those months, and only if an extension of more months are denied. They don't happen suddenly if a stock reaches 30 cents, but I guess you'll be moving on. Okay. There have been 2 more institutional buys today, October the 12th, according to Fintel. And that's true, I did look that up. Shorts are starting to cover. There's going to be green soon. Short interest is crazy high right now, is Helix. I hope people cover before it's too late. It's a shame when families are affected by bad short decisions. Meta Dolce Technologies distributes for Richtech their medical delivery robot. Okay, there's someone saying somebody wants out bad in the after hours or they're being liquidated. Take a look at the order block. Weird asks and bids in the 1 through to 100 lots. That is an indication of manipulation, and it leans toward keeping the price around 50 cents, which indicates to me there are positions being filled by an institution or hedge fund, so it's complete manipulation. It is being shorted. Actual company fundamentals and finances are very solid. In fact, even better than Serv Robotics. That's a strong claim. Right now it is at bargain prices, and with a little news, it will easily rocket back up. With big news, like interest from NVIDIA, and we know NVIDIA already makes the tech behind the robots, it will meme pretty quickly. Overall, I'm enjoying the opportunities for increasing my position and lowering my average. Okay, all right, so here's some data on Richtech. The institutional investors in Richtech, just on the 12th, it was XTX Topco Limited. That's the name of the investor. They purchased 10,000 shares. And then on the 8th, or I should say the 9th of August, Renaissance Technologies purchased 108,000 shares. JP Morgan Chase bought 22 shares. Okay, that's not really notable. In terms of the short float, 13% of the short floated. Hold on a moment. Okay, in all honesty, I don't really understand the short float numbers too well, so I'm not going to get into that because I'm not an expert at that. In terms of the fees and rebate rate explanation, it looks like the fees are actually very high, 91% fee to cover and then 120% fee to cover for Richtech. Okay, I did ask Helix a question and he answered and he responded. My question was, how will their partnerships with Walmart, Mercedes-Benz, and so on, how will that affect the stock price? Are they significant relationships? And his answer was, I would say that given they have a letter of intent with Ghost Kitchens, since the start of the year, to expand in over 240 locations across America, and we covered this on our channel. They have done so in multiple locations now, with the most recent being Ghost Kitchens International Incorporated, announcing the opening of its one kitchen restaurant in a Walmart in Rockford, Illinois. They are quite serious, and these partnerships are strengthening. I recommend you do the research yourself. It's a good advice. Simply go into Google, use the keywords Richtech Robotics and Ghost Kitchens, or Richtech Robotics and Mercedes /Walmart /medical, etc. There's also new partnerships, such as with Beaver's Wealth Universe, when they announced their partnership with Richtech, which was formed to address the integration of robotics into business. This includes, but is not limited to, the integration of POS systems, digital, I don't know what POS stands for. I know what my mind's thinking of, but anyway. Digital marketing, working flow of collaboration between humans and robots, other operational protocols that maximize the utility of the robots while also providing better experience to customers. There's a lot of other information, such as companies using their Medbot robotics too. And the other partnership I mentioned in the question was MLB, Major League Baseball. Another answer was, unfortunately, this is not the place for lengthy explanations as I keep getting censored. Okay, so I'm not going to go into that one. As for the stock price, I do see it recovering with the right news alongside the market recovery. It's a good point. The market has to recover because it is taking a downturn. There's a lot of fear at the moment, a lot of forecasting of recession and a stock market crash, and there's a lot of red flags indicating that is very much on the horizon. And it could very well be a reality. It's not just fear mongering. This could very well happen, just like in 2008, and then more recently in 2020, of March 2020. But remember, investing is in establishing companies carries risks, kind of like metamaterials, but this is a completely different beast in my opinion. Okay, I do expect some volatility while this recovers. I just see this as a further opportunity to increase my position. Okay. And I think that's it for today. So it's all about Starbucks and Richtech Robotics. When will it take off? Are we in a similar situation as metamaterials where it's just never taking off? I don't think so, because we do see stronger relationships with they're coming out with press releases. They aren't keeping things secret. They're not they're not all talk and no action. We can see just from the relationships with Major League Baseball, with Walmart, with Mercedes-Benz. There's a lot of growth happening, and the revenue is good. Actually, you know what? I want to look up the revenue just to do my due diligence. So let's do that right now. How do we look that up? Oh, okay. The video is not pausing for whatever reason. Okay, here we go. So let's prove what this commenter, this user was saying. Is it true that it has better revenues and fundamentals than Serv Robotics? Let's just look at revenue as just to prove what they're saying. Serv Robotics, so this is from MSN.com. Their shares are moving higher, etc. Q2 revenue was 468. Is that thousand? So 468,000. What else? What else can I say out of this? Just sifting through. 300,000. So and it says 28 million in cash. Okay, so let's focus on those two numbers. I think that's really the meat of this report. The Q2, 468K and 28 million, or 29, it's rounded off. Then we'll look at the annual revenue. It says revenue 1 million, revenue growth 742, 100% growth. Market cap 381 million. Okay. Interesting. Fiscal year end 207K. All right, so let's pause the video and look at Richtech. Okay, let's look at them side by side. You know what? I have to open this in a new window. Just move it to a new window. So let's do that right now, and we'll just look at it side by side. I have to shrink this a little bit. So we have Richtech, and you know what? Let me pause just to get this. Let's get this. Okay, so I hope this is visually helpful. So we have Richtech at the top, and Serv Robotics in the bottom. Now let's compare them side by side. So Richtech at the top, once again, Serv on the bottom, and Serv has the higher share price. Look at the revenue, 8 million to 1. So yeah, it is larger revenue, but their revenue growth is smaller. But still, you have to take that into account. Price per share ratio, 3.39. And here's 173. So this might be overvalued, and this is undervalued. Market cap, okay, revenue 176. Yeah, the revenue is better too. Market cap 32 million, but this market cap is 381 million. Why is that? Because of the share price. That's why. So once this stock explodes because it matches what the revenue is and the value of the company, then you will see the market cap match up closer to this, maybe even surpassing it. Now, if we look at the revenue history, let's look at the last 3 years on both. Nothing in 2021, but in 2022, we see 107 for Serv, and then 207. But if you look at Richtech, it's not in the K, it's in the millions. So yeah, this is being severely shorted. That is kind of a shocker right now. So yeah, I'm all in on Richtech. This proves it. This proves just what that user said. I did the research. I proved it myself. You can do that yourself, or just take what you're seeing in this video. What was the other area he mentioned? Revenue. There was another area. What was it right now? Do your research. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me just pause for a moment. I don't want to waste people's time. Okay, so I think that's it. The question was, or the answer was rather, if you compare the revenue of Richtech and Serv Robotics, but also the fundamentals, and I think that's what we basically did. We looked at the market cap, we looked at the revenue, we looked at the price compared to the price per share ratio, and we can see, yeah, it is stronger. Let's just read the summary. Serv Robotics first. Serv Robotics had a revenue of $946,000 in the quarter ending March 31st, with an increase of 2,251%. This brings the company's revenue in the last 12 months to $1 million, up 742% year over year. So yeah, you can see it has grown astronomically, but in comparison to Richtech, it's just not in the same league. So let's look at the revenue. 1 million in the third quarter with 23% growth, bringing the revenue in the last 12 months to 8 million compared to 1 million. So it's almost, it's eight to 9 times more. In the fiscal year ending September 30th, their annual revenue was 8.76 million, whereas Serv Robotics was 207K. So if that speaks for itself, ladies and gents. I don't know what else to say about that. But if you didn't invest in Richtech Robotics, you might be missing the boat. I think it's going to take off in a crazy way. At least to $1.50, maybe $2, maybe even go back to $5. But we'll see. You have to just wait and see. It's a matter of waiting and seeing, because once they report their next quarterly earnings, I think that's when the stock will take off. Not just a quarterly, but more so the press releases being more and more positive, and again, just some good news like Nvidia, or more solid numbers. Like, for example, let's say one of their press releases will, just hypothetically, just throw it out there, that their revenue was up 50%, for example, and just going to take a number here. It had a revenue of 1 million in the quarter, so it's going to have a revenue of, let's just say, 2.34 million instead. Just throwing the numbers out there. So when you have solid numbers like that, and it's showing the growth potential, and solid numbers showing that they're bringing in business, they're bringing in revenue, it's undeniable that they are viable, that they're making even more money than Serv Robotics. It's a no-brainer that if I'm a short seller, I'm going to want to get out of there before I get burned. So that's all for this video. Starbucks and Richtech Robotics, DD. So hope that was helpful. It definitely was for me. I think a lot of the times I'm just doing a lot of technical analysis, but actually doing the fundamental analysis, looking at the news behind why the stock is moving, or why it's not moving in this case, is very helpful to understand the big picture and look at what we can expect in the future for these stocks, in particular Richtech. So thank you, and until next time.